you throughout the room. And you can test it out because it really does work. It gives me goosebumps all the time. But he's not haunted, don't worry. It's just a sign of a good painter. If you had money, you could throw in that added effect. So don't worry, he's cool. He's not the person you should be worrying about. Now this guy over here, hate to burst y'all's bubble, but we have no idea who he is. He has nothing to do with the home. Yep, that one. We just put him in there to show what a Confederate soldier would look like. A lot of people say he looks like Christian Bale. I tend to agree. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's weird. But the really cool thing is that sword down below him. Because that was found on the property by a guest.
The sword?
Yes, the sword. It was raining super hard one day. The ground was soft and they tripped on it. Turned it in. We've dated it between the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. We're probably closer to the Civil War because the Myrtle served as a hospital during that time. And it's a French Dragoon sword. It's ceremonial. It's never seen battle. But it was most likely presented from a French Dragoon to an American Dragoon. So, I'm a major history buff.
It's usually like a general or somebody would have worn a sword, ceremonial sword.
Yeah, so like the Dragoons are like the guys with young horses, and they would go through and like take all the soldiers like swords and whatnot.
Each state used to have its own money back then.
Like,
so this is Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, $1.
It's really cool.
Look, this is English money over here.
I really like it.
Look, see?
Now this man in the corner is Francis Winters.
See, it says 5 shillings. That's English money. Eric don't know what that is.
He's one of the first brigadier generals of World War I. You can see he has that star on his shoulder. But I think the mustache can be...
I don't know, that looks like Hitler.
Exactly, right? I mean, I can understand the confusion. Like, mustache, military uniform, black and white, doesn't look too good. But, he is American. We would not have a Nazi up here, so don't worry.
Look, there's more. Mississippi.
Now this girl is his little
$100.
sister, Kate. Now poor Kate died when she was 3 years old from one of the fevers. The elder scholar, we're not really quite sure. But the really cool thing about this portrait, maybe a little bit creepy, is that it's a post-mortem portrait.
So, what?
Yeah, if you split the painting down the middle, you can see that that side of her face is much more lighter. She's more full. But if you look to this side, she's very flushed and her eyes sunken in. I think the dead giveaway is that her arm is significantly shorter than the other, showing that rigor mortis is already kind of setting. And she's also holding that ceremonial death shawl that they raised. And remember, back in the day, children did not have their portraits taken. So if you did see a portrait of a child, it's a little sad because they most likely died. But don't worry about Kate. She's still having fun. She's probably our most active spirit. Likes to run around the whole place, play with the kids in the dining room. If you're staying the night and you're being a little bit too loud past your bedtime, she would tell you to go to sleep.
Really?
Yes, so that's a fun thing to hear in the night. I'll really be sleeping after that. If you feel tuggy on your shirt, maybe like an icy grip on your hand, that is her as well. She just wants your attention. She doesn't mean to cause you any harm. But just say hey to her back. I mean, I don't know how you can with all the hair and everything, all that volume. Actually, one of my ladies on my tour, the first tour that I gave, said that she felt somebody like pushing her on her back. So it's either one of the kids, it's either Kate or one of the other two kids. So, like I said, a lot of things have been happening this weekend. Now, we're going to go outside and we're going to talk about that Chloe picture, which is a little backstory before that. The Mosses bought the property in 1992. They lived in it for a few years and decided to convert it into a B&B. And for insurance purposes, they had to take pictures of the home because fire is a major fear we have in these old wooden structures. That's a picture of the general store from 2014 from a small electrical fire. Didn't end too well.
Sure.
But yeah, she takes the pictures and yeah, she obviously found some interesting things in that picture. So, let's go on outside and we can take a look.
Sure.
And there's our lovely cat.
All right. Look, I just want to show you. This is a Civil War battlefield. See 52? 52, if you look it up, it's the Red River Battle Campaign, so that's where it came through, right there by us at Martville and stuff. Yep. Okay, sorry. I was showing her, like, right where we live is where they had, like, one of the Civil War battles by Red River.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so, here it is, everybody, the original Chloe picture. And the insurance company, they had one request. They said, Miss Moss, you can't have any cats, dogs, humans in your picture. Just has to be the structures. So she takes the pictures, gets them developed, sends them off. And 10 days later, they come back denied. She has no idea why. They say, Miss Moss, you clearly have someone in your picture. We told you. Nobody can be in that photo. But it was just her. It was a Sunday morning. And she owns the property. She should know who is and isn't there. There should be nobody in that picture. Well, she takes a closer look, and sure enough, standing in that alleyway right there, we can see the outline of a woman with the slats going through her on this side of the home. And they just want to make sure they actually have a ghost on the property. So they send it off to National Geographic, where a man named Norman Benoit, he says, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you don't have any ghost on your property, you're full of it. He does this thing called a shadow density test, and basically, it drops the layer of the picture, so what is on the photo is going to stay, what isn't should just fall right off. And it also brings forth the shadows and makes it much darker. Well, we have circled her, because yes, sure enough. Oh, she stopped, y'all. Okay. So she's still there. Blowing her up on a height test, she's 4'5", the average height for women back in the day. Outlined her head, torso, and waist. And it kind of looks like she's wearing a cap of some sorts. And Chloe was known for wearing a green turban. She would shift it to the left to cover up that left earlobe and save herself from embarrassment. And another thing that we did not see in the picture, but showed up in the test, were these two kids hanging out right up above us on the roof. Whenever the Woodruffs owned the home, that room behind them was the child's nursery. So yes, they did die in that room. Yep. You can see like a little girl right there, kind of looks like she's holding out her dress, and a little boy standing right next to her. We think maybe they're having some fun, playing hide and go seek with Chloe. Or maybe Chloe showing them off, like, look, I still got the kids in the afterlife, you know. They chose me. So yes, y'all, trust me, we really do have ghosts on this property. It's a thing.
No, I don't see nothing.
So Chloe, the kids, and with that, the end of my tour. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Sorry we had kind of a little late start. But yeah, if y'all have any questions, do let me know. I'll be in the general store. We have a self-guided walking tour that y'all could take before it gets dark and everything.
Okay.
Thank y'all so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Y'all enjoy your evening.
Appreciate it.